NFL Week 10 Power Rankings, where the 49ers stand after a shaky win versus Bucs. After a dramatic Week 10, there were plenty of ups and downs across the NFL. From major upsets to thrilling comebacks, the San Francisco 49ers had a tense victory over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and despite their struggles, they managed to hold on for the win. Here's where they, along with the rest of the league, stand heading into the next stretch of the season. 32. New York Giants, 2-8. Last week, 29. The Giants were humiliated in their international game, and Daniel Jones has been a non-factor. At this point, they need to focus on securing the top draft pick. 31. Jacksonville Jaguars, 2-8. Last week, 27. A dreadful performance from backup QB McCorkle Jones. Even when facing an offense that couldn't score a touchdown, they still couldn't pull out the win. Major questions about the future. 30. Tennessee Titans, 2-7. Last week, 30. Will Levis played decently, but the Titans' offense still looks rudderless. A rebuild is clearly on the horizon. 29. Carolina Panthers, 3-7. Last week, 32. Bryce Young has shown improvement, and Chuba Hubbard's resurgence makes the Panthers' future look a bit brighter. They're not a playoff team yet, but there are small signs of life. 28. Las Vegas Raiders, 2-7. Last week, 28. Bye week for the Raiders, who are deep into tank mode. It's all about getting a top draft pick and finding their next QB. 27. New England Patriots, 3-7. Last week, 31. The Patriots finally won a game, but it was against the Bears, Jets, and Bengals. Still, they looked more competent this week despite their roster limitations. 26. Cleveland Browns, 2-7. Last week, 25. The Browns have their highs and lows, and with Jameis Winston under center, those lows can get pretty low. They remain a team in flux. 25. Dallas Cowboys, 3-6. Last week, 22. Cooper Rush was dreadful, and without Dak Prescott, the offense looks lost. It's time for Dallas to figure out their QB situation, including exploring Trey Lance. 24. New York Jets, 3-7. Last week, 23. The Jets' season is spiraling down, and with no Aaron Rodgers to rescue them, it's hard to see where they go from here. 23. New Orleans Saints, 3-7. Last week, 26. A win over the Falcons. But with so many issues on offense, the Saints remain a middling team at best. 22. Miami Dolphins, 2-6. Last week, 24. With a chance to salvage their playoff hopes, the Dolphins desperately need to break out of their offensive slump. Monday night's game will be crucial. 21. Indianapolis Colts, 4-6. Last week, 21. Joe Flacco's return didn't spark the Colts, and the offense continues to struggle with consistency. They'll need to rebuild around their young players. 20. Chicago Bears, 4-5. Last week, 18. The Bears have too much talent to keep struggling, and with Caleb Williams' stock slipping, the QB decision may not be as clear-cut as it seemed. 19. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 4-6. Last week, 16. Despite a valiant effort against the 49ers, the Buccaneers are struggling with key injuries, including to their offensive line and skill players. A bye week should help reset their season. 18. Cincinnati Bengals, 4-6. Last week, 20. Joe Burrow continues to put up huge numbers, but without a defense or a competent run game, Cincinnati is stuck in mediocrity. 17. Seattle Seahawks, 4-5. Last week, 19. The Seahawks are hard to pin down, but if Geno Smith can get back to his early season form, they may be in the playoff hunt. 16. Denver Broncos, 5-5. Last week, 17. The Broncos played the Chiefs tough, but missed opportunities and a lack of big plays held them back. Their defense is solid, but their offense still has too many question marks. 15. Los Angeles Rams, 4-4. Last week, 14. With a tough matchup on Monday night against the Dolphins, the Rams will need to outscore their opponents to stay relevant in the NFC playoff race. 14. San Francisco 49ers, 5-4. Last week, 12. The 49ers barely scraped by the Buccaneers in a game full of mistakes and missed opportunities. Their offense is still finding its rhythm. And the defense isn't as dominant as it once was. They need to clean up their red zone issues and improve on offense if they want to contend. 13. Arizona Cardinals, 6-4. Last week, 15. Kyler Murray's near-perfect performance and a dominant win over the Jets has made the Cardinals a team to watch. They still have their doubts, but the play of the offense recently can't be ignored. 12. Atlanta Falcons, 6-4. Last week, 9. Despite a poor performance from their kicker, the Falcons are still a competitive team, even if their offense remains inconsistent. 11. Houston Texans, 6-4. Last week, 11. The Texans' defense has been great, but C.J. Stroud's inability to capitalize on turnovers raises questions about their ability to finish games. They're not out of it, but they need to clean up their mistakes. 10. Los Angeles Chargers, 6-3. Last week, 13. Despite inconsistent play, Justin Herbert's arm keeps them in the playoff hunt. They'll need to improve their defense to make a serious push. 9. Green Bay Packers, 6-3. Last week, 10. The Packers needed the bye week to reset after a rocky stretch. With Jordan Love, they still have playoff potential, if he can stay healthy. 8. Washington Commanders, 7-3. Last week, 7. The Commanders were stifled by the Steelers' defense, but they've shown they're a legitimate contender. Still, a few mistakes will keep them from making a deep playoff run. 7. Minnesota Vikings, 7-2. Last week, 6. Despite a poor performance from backup QB Sam Darnold, the Vikings pulled out a win against a weaker Jacksonville team. The schedule gets tougher ahead. 6. Pittsburgh Steelers, 7-2. Last week, 8. Kenny Pickett is still developing, but the Steelers' defense continues to carry them to wins. A playoff spot is looking more and more likely. 5. Baltimore Ravens, 7-3. Last week, 5. Lamar Jackson has been playing at an MVP level, and the Ravens continue to dominate on both sides of the ball. They're a legitimate Super Bowl contender. 4. Philadelphia Eagles, 7-2. Last week, 4. The Eagles took care of business against an inferior opponent, but they'll need to improve in their next few games to maintain their standing in the NFC. 3. Buffalo Bills, 8-2. Last week, 3. Josh Allen didn't have his best game, but the defense and running back James Cook picked up the slack. The Bills remain one of the top teams in the AFC. 2. Detroit Lions, 8-1. Last week, 2. Despite 5 interceptions from Jared Goff, the Lions still managed to win. They've proven they can win in any situation, making them a dangerous team. 1. Kansas City Chiefs, 9-0. Last week, 1. The Chiefs keep winning games, often in dramatic fashion. A blocked field goal for the win sums up their season. Elite teams just find a way. Kansas City is still the team to beat in the NFL.